Stay tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. Joan served the state of California as a member on the Arts Council and on the Film Commission. She was formerly on the Architectural Commission and fulfilled 2 terms on the Fine Arts Commission for the city of Beverly Hills. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview magazine, Condé Nast Publications, and the Hearst Corporation, Joan covered the world of fashion, the mysteries of food, the excitement of theater, and the international art scene. She continues to find people who are on the cutting edge of their professions. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles at the Hollywood Museum. We're taping here in the iconic Max Factor building. And I'm with an old friend, artist Michael McCall, who was born in North Carolina. You can still hear a trace of that southern drawl. And raised there along with being raised in Florida. He came back to North Carolina to attend the university at Chapel Hill and graduated from University of Illinois, where he got his degree. He's written a memoir called The Tentacle Room Capers, which we'll talk about. Michael's a painter, but he's also at home with sculpture, photography, performance, and he's collaborated with a lot of people in the art world. And let's talk about tar babies and sand paintings.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What is tar babies?
Well, the reason I was led to tar paper was that I was making paintings with sand mixed with the gesso to build up a textural surface. And it took a little bit too long for me. And so I was on the roof of my building downtown LA, and I noticed the roof, and I went, there it is. And so I bought a big roll, started painting, cut them into small little 9-inch.
Oh, it's a roll, and then you cut it into the 9-inch pieces.
Squares.
Oh, I see.
And so the first ones, the first 50 of them, I went and tarred them up around downtown.
So you were like doing street art before years. Was this in the 70s?
This is 84.
In the 80s.
And then I had a tour in my car. So people would come to the studio, and I go, well, let's get in the car and go see some paintings. And they go, well, we're here. And I said, well, it's L.A. We got to get in the car.
Yeah.
And I'd drive around sort of like a tour guide.
Where'd you put them in? What did you put them in little forms, or were they just?
Since they're small and they have to compete with the environment, I would find places that kind of frame them. The backs of traffic control boxes.
Oh, so they would fit right into this one small 9 by. Oh, that's great. And how long did they last?
There's still some up. That's
Is
30,
that right?
30 years ago.
Is it, so we can find them somewhere? What about the color? Was it color?
The colors faded pretty good.
Were they colors?
Yeah, they were very colorful. And you could tell that they were a studio-made object.
So that was a collaboration with the sand paintings? Those were the sand paintings was a separate thing? Or?
Sand paintings are a separate thing.
It's
I have lots of different projects going on kind of continually.
What's a sand painting then?
Sand painting is where I actually go to the beach.
Oh,
and I will do a design or a symbol and use colored sand and objects that I take there, and objects I also find on the beach. And then I'll build something, and then I'll photograph it, and then hopefully the surf comes up and washes it away.
So it's just like this ephemeral thing. You build it, it becomes a piece of art, and then it continues the art project from your photograph?
Well, the photograph, I mean, I got this idea when I was traveling right before I went to the Yucatan to study the Mayans, and I kept thinking of this idea is that we know all this information about art history, but we very seldom see the work. We always see the photograph. So I thought, okay, well, the photograph is king in many ways of getting the information out. So. But I wanted the experience to happen for the people that were on the beach. That just happened to come by. They had an experience with this thing on the beach. I photographed it, and then it was gone.
And what beaches did you use?
I started in Tulum, Mexico.
Oh, you did them in Mexico? Mm-hmm. Oh, great.
And then I kind of worked myself up the East Coast, and then the West Coast.
So we're doing all this stuff outside of the studio. You say people come to your studio and want to see art. Do you actually paint on a canvas in the studio?
I paint on anything that gets in the way.
but are you a canvas painter?
Yes, I do. I make canvas paintings. I'm making canvas paintings now, and I'm also painting on metal.
What kind of materials when you're painting on canvas?
I'm a water painter. I like acrylics.
Acrylic.
But sometimes I'll use some enamels in oil-based paintings.
Do you mix them?
No, not really. I sort of juxtapose them and layer them. I like the fact, what I want my paintings to feel like when you have one of those is that when you walk by them, certain parts of the painting will jump and move because of the different
symbols.
Yes.
The symbols. Now I understand what you're talking about when you say you use symbols in your painting.
Yes.
What kind of symbols do you use? Let's talk about that a little bit, because that hit me. I remember when you used to say use symbols, like curly cues, triangles.
Well, I've come from sort of a geometric abstract background.
Oh, so there you are.
And at a certain point, I became interested in marks and gestures. And so basically the history of the written language, for centuries, people have been making marks and trying to communicate something through that mark. Then that mark sort of moved down the line through different cultures, meant different things. And but the circle to me is supreme.
The circle is it.
Yeah.
The circle. One thing that you did was you made some banners in Santa Monica years ago. And what were those? Did those have symbols on them?
Oh yeah, they had a lot of symbols.
And what was it? What was that
Most
project?
of the symbols had to do. They were all circular. They were a circle image within the rectangle.
On the straight banner.
Yeah, on the banner.
Oh, it was a circle image.
So. And in most of them, they had to do with good luck, safe travel, and good business. So they were old symbols that I researched. And even though you didn't know what they meant as you walked under them, that I wanted them to have some kind of like positive.
And there were several all over Santa Monica.
There were 36 of them.
That's a lot, isn't it? Was it all downtown, or did it?
It was all on 3rd Street Promenade.
Oh, it was.
It was a Santa Monica Arts Commission.
Fantastic. And another thing that you did was these diary paintings.
Yes, those were on sailcloth.
So you've painted, as you say, anything that comes along, right? When you made the banners, did they print them? Did you do?
Yeah, I had a sign painter hand paint them.
Oh, they were all hand painted, but on vinyl, probably,
on
right?
vinyl, yeah.
And so the diary paintings were on
sailcloth. And what I did was the first time I bought sailcloth, I bought a 45-foot piece, and I made a 45-foot long painting.
Wow. Where did that go?
It's in my studio.
Is it?
It's 3 feet wide. It rolls up. And the reason I was looking for something like sailcloth was that you could roll paintings. And the thing about making big objects is that you have to store them. So being able to roll them is a great thing to do with it.
So that's like a diary rolling up?
Well, no. The diary part comes from, I'm always looking for things, and I have a very adventurous mind, and so when I would come across something or symbol that had something to do with what was going on in my life, that went into the painting.
Oh, that was your diary.
And so that became the diary.
So there's only one of these. There's only one diary painting?
20 of them.
There are?
Yeah, they're about
all
7 feet by 9 feet.
Oh, really?
And then there's the 45-foot painting, too.
So do they come like year after year? You keep a diary this way?
I keep diaries all the time.
But on canvas?
On canvas, and also I write a diary.
Do you paint in a series, ongoing series, or is it always a new kind of series? Because what did you do shooting the I Ching? Was that a series?
Yes.
And what was that about?
Well, probably 20 years ago, I started studying Tai Chi and the I Ching, and I'm interested in the balance and balancing myself, the yin and the yang. And that led me to the I Ching. But the I Ching also has something to do about chance meetings and chance. Even though some people say there's no such thing as chance, it's all meant to be.
Oh, I see what you mean, that it wasn't preordained.
But the book, which is 5,000 years old, is made so if you're having a problem making a decision on something, you throw used to be you throw yarrow stalks,
Yeah, that's what
48 of them, and
Yeah.
how they landed got you to a certain point in the book. Now we throw coins.
I
Okay?
see, yeah.
But when you get to that point in the book, which is all by chance, that you've asked yourself a question: how do I make this decision, or what do I need to do? It takes you to a point in the book, and then you have to sort of get through the difficulties of the interpretation of the Chinese language to how we look at it. And we're Westerners, so
Right.
we look at things very differently.
Right.
Than,
And you do too as a painter. You're going to look at something different than I'm going to look at it, because you're going to see things I don't see.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to open up to me, the spectator who's looking, a viewer looking at your work. So what did you put in these paintings then from the I Ching?
I actually put pages from the book.
Oh, you did?
I actually cut pages out of the book. I paste them up. Then I do. The new work is from a circle, which is a mandala, basically. That you can see the words through the painting, and in the, what's the final layer on top of the painting is usually a labyrinth or a maze.
Oh, so it's something that goes like that.
Yeah, and so some of that idea, and those are actually computer-generated mazes, but I hand paint them, so it's the oxymoronic approach to hand painting something high-tech.
Wow. Yeah, you get the computer, but you're still using the hand. The hand is there. So we've talked about all these different forms of painting. You do sculpture, you do street art, you do canvas, whatever. But another form of your art is writing. And you've written this memoir. So tell me about that. What is that? Who is Captain Squid?
It's a character that I take on. It's an avatar. When I got a master's degree and I wanted to sort of unlearn some of the sort of theoretical stuff, and I didn't get a job that I was looking for, so I retired.
You retired.
I retired and moved to Key West.
You did. Back to Florida.
Right.
That's pretty interesting.
Right. But to the very bottom, the end of the road.
Okay.
And I bought a little 15-foot rowboat and moved onto an island 500 yards off of Key West.
So not very far.
Right. I would row back and forth, take everything out there. And one day there was 30 of us out on this island. And one day the Monroe County sheriffs arrived in cigarette hull boats to remove us. And I got in a big argument with them. And then eventually, we were all leaving the island, but I knew a guy in a schooner, and he called me over, and at that point he said, "Hey, Captain Squid." And so that's how it happened.
He called you Captain Squid?
Right. He called me Captain Squid because he was a little, I'm sure he didn't want me coming to his boat because the sheriffs were all there, and I think he had something else going on.
Like drugs?
Probably.
You're way down at the bottom. What else is it going to be, right?
Right. And so I looked back at the island, and 3 weeks later I went back with a friend of mine, and we collected everything from every campsite that had any value, we thought value, and took it to one point where my original campsite was, and set up a bar.
Oh, that's where you set up this like almost performance piece.
Right.
Installation.
But it was a speakeasy. I bought booze.
It was a real speakeasy?
Yeah, I bought booze. I took it to this. We called it the Tentacle Room. And boats would come by and we'd sell them drinks.
Oh, they would come and stop? Oh, so you opened your own bar, but it was an art piece in a way. You collected things and you put it, and you were living there in retirement? There you were in retirement, but you became a bartender and a captain.
Yeah, a captain. And for 30 years, I kept the Tentacle Room going in all my studios.
Oh, how'd you do that?
I built bars in my studios. And then when I moved to D.C., I lived right near the National Portrait Gallery. I built a bar in there.
That's when I lost you, when you moved to D.C., I think.
Yeah, I moved from Florida to Washington, D.C.
And then you came here?
And then I came to California.
Okay, then I didn't lose you. I found you when you came to California.
Right.
Okay, you came from D.C. then. Oh, I see. And in California, did you have bars?
In my studio, yes. But in D.C., I actually had a membership. I sold memberships.
Oh, that was...
And the funny thing about it is you could see the FBI building out window of the bar, which was hilarious because
It was like Dallas Buyers Club. You could sell memberships to belong to this place to get your drugs, so to get your booze.
But,
very interesting.
But this is a sociological project, because what I was trying to do was build a society of artists and art-related people that would come together that normally didn't see each other or whatever.
To come to your bar.
Right.
Okay, we have a couple minutes left. Tell us about this fantastic painting.
This is a more or less a conceptual piece, basically, even though it is it's on metal. And there's a very well-known artist, California artist named Billy Al Bingston.
We know him very well.
Yes. Well, he also made some objects that he made small little stamped dentos.
Smaller sizes. You
Right,
would
smaller.
like,
This
bend
one's
them
what,
up.
30 inches square, and it has dents in
Yes, I see the dents.
it. And
he bent them so that they were.
and I came and one of the symbols that he used, and some people
right.
connect me with Billy Al because of the use of symbols and the centralization, is this what he calls I think he calls it the sergeant stripes.
Bars and rockers.
Bars and rockers?
Yeah,
Is that
I
what he
call it
calls
the sergeant stripes. I think he calls it bars and rockers.
Right.
And that's right in the center.
That's in the center, and you probably can't see it, but because it's very subtle, that he has it etched, how the bars and rockers are. And these lines were etched. But I went in kind of a collaborative approach with Billy Al and Michael
But he
McCall.
didn't know it.
But he didn't know it.
No, right. You
Yeah,
were collaborating on his dento.
Right.
But I see your symbol. I see the circles.
Yes, the circle's there too.
So you have this the gold circle, and then I see bigger circles all the way around.
And it, we're very connected here.
Michael, I'm so glad you came today.
I am
Thank
too.
you.
It's great to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. Keep writing to JAQUINN1 at AOL.com.